Our reading is the prophethood of all believers. The prophetic liberal church is not a church in which the prophetic function is assigned merely to the few. The prophetic liberal church is a church in which people think and work together to interpret the signs of the times in the light of their faith, to make explicit through discussion the epochal thinking that the times demand. The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all members share the common responsibility to attempt to foresee the consequences of human behaviors, both individual and institutional, with the intention of making history in place of merely being pushed around by it. There ends the reading. Joy in stressful times. In today's world, feeling good may be in short supply. The pandemic is on the upswing again, and many of us anticipate spending the colder months ahead cooped up in our homes with computer screens as our only windows into the world. Meanwhile, climate-related natural disasters are driving thousands of people out of their homes. Millions of jobs are being lost, and food insecurity is on the rise. It is as if the entire universe has conspired to take joy out of life. In his Berry Street lecture at the General Assembly in 1994, Unitarian Universalist minister Carl Scoville called the heart of his faith the Great Surmise. The Great Surmise says simply this: at the heart of all creation lies a good intent, a purposeful goodness from which we come, by which we live our fullest, and to which we shall at last return. This is the supreme mystery of our lives. This goodness is ultimate, not fate, not freedom, not mystery, energy, order, or finitude. But this good intent in creation is our source, our center, and our destiny. Our work on earth is to explore, enjoy, and share this goodness. Neither duty nor suffering nor progress nor conflict, not even survival, is the aim of life. Berry tells us, but joy, deep, abiding, uncompromised joy. It may be our work and our aim, but how rarely do we really find it? How often do you feel joy, a truly pure, unadulterated feeling of delight, bliss, and happiness? As children, joy was a familiar feeling for most of us. As we become adults, we're given more and more rules to follow. We start climbing the career ladder, raising families, and working toward financial freedom. Along the way, we forget how to find joy. How rarely do we see it? Life is mostly ordinary time, and I consider joy a universal attribute of full, rich, meaningful living. During stressful times, it becomes twice as important to modify routines, allowing ourselves to experience joy. So how do we find joy in stressful times, such as these that we presently live in? What is joy? Well, it's not to be confused with happiness, which is a synonym of joy. Joy is there even during transitional or challenging times, but you have to look for it, just like the little boy in the story. First, you need to know what joy isn't and what it is. Joy isn't happiness, because happiness is a reaction to things happening around us. like having a fun outing with a friend. When you're struggling, it's harder to be happy, but you can still have joy because joy is a state of mind. While happiness and joy can be intertwined with each other, joy is more profound and longer lasting. Joy can be big, like meeting your soulmate or holding your baby for the first time. Or it can be the small things that soothe your spirit, like a hot cup of tea on a cold morning. You need to be open to experiencing joy. Although how you find and cultivate it is personal, because one size does not fit all. To start, reflect on a time when you did feel joy. What were you doing? Who were you with? Evaluating these times of joy can help you hone in on what matters to you. Finding joy is about paying attention to the moment, not looking ahead or ruminating on the past, but experiencing the now. It's easy to automatically jump to the negatives of life. That's because the brain is hardwired for survival and safety. And anticipating what can go wrong protects us. Have you ever noticed that you fret about hitting all the red lights and driving, but don't celebrate the green ones? Finding joy is about carving out an opening for the positives. Eric Wilson, professor of English at Wake Forest University and author of Against Happiness, informs that Americans are too obsessed with happiness. He contends that melancholy is what makes a culture thrive. We got a lot of melancholy. It's the muse of great literature, music, art, and of innovation in all areas of life. In Surprised by Joy, the autobiography of C.S. Lewis, chronicling his journey from atheism to Christianity and his lifelong search for the transcendent experience of joy, Lewis describes encounters with joy through literature, music, nature, and other worldly experiences, which ultimately served as a pointer towards God. Finding joy in times of sorrow involves embracing beliefs that often provide a framework for experiencing joy through the Spirit or the promise of future bliss, while practical approaches include accepting help from others and finding comfort in faith-based resources. Connect with your spiritual side. When we join with something larger than ourselves, we develop feelings of gratitude, compassion, and peace. Practically, it's important to cultivate a joyful mindset by practicing gratitude through consciously acknowledging the good things in our lives, no matter how small, to foster a more positive outlook. The more we practice gratitude, the more positive emotions we will feel. The Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh informs that at every moment, it is possible to cultivate the seeds of appreciation and gratitude. We need only to direct our attention to those seeds rather than some others, because our living becomes what we grow in the mind. Surround yourself with positive people. Surrounding yourself with good people goes hand in hand with the law of attraction, and it's vital to every area of life. I'm sure everyone here knows someone who lifts our spirits when we are down. When we're surrounded by positive people, it is nearly impossible to feel pessimistic because they'll lift our spirits and help us find the good in any situation. I know it isn't always easy, But because some people have been a part of our lives for so long, it can be difficult to let go of those who actively work against joy. However, you can learn to find joy with their toxic negativity holding you back. Finding joy in life is an ongoing journey that begins with a set of practices that will ultimately lead us to it. We often forget to be present in our own lives because we live in such a fast-paced world where we're always planning our next move, searching for that perfect relationship, or throwing ourselves into work. When we do relax, we're glued to our phones, and social media constantly reminds us of what we're missing. How can we feel joy when we're always searching for something better? Unplug. Notice what's around us and savor it. By being mindful and focusing on the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future to help us fully experience joy as it happens. To find joy, practice gratitude and mindfulness. Appreciate small moments. Cultivate meaningful relationships. Engage in hobbies and new experiences, and focus on what you can control. Mindfulness practices like meditation or journaling will help you feel joy on a daily basis. Joy can be a conscious choice and an inner state cultivated with gratitude, self-care, and acts of kindness, rather than being dependent on external circumstances. Embrace self-compassion and avoid dismissing difficult feelings. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer a friend. Identify what truly matters to you and engage in activities that align with your values so as to find meaning such as creative work, spiritual connections, or helping others. A successful career and financial freedom are important goals, but the key to having more joy in your life is to discover your purpose and give back to others. Making a difference in the lives of others brings meaning to our own lives and reminds us of all that we have. That's why learning how to have more joy in your life always involves giving back. You don't need money to find fulfillment through giving. Eckhart Tolle tells us that joy does not come from what you do. It flows into what you do and then out into the world from deep within you. It's also important to let go of the past, because your past is not your future unless you live there. And living there prevents you from learning how to find joy in the present. If you've lost a loved one, ended a relationship, or have been struggling financially, these are certainly valid reasons to feel down. Allow yourself to feel sad or lonely, but never hopeless. Ask yourself what you can learn from your experiences and emotions. Then let go of the past. You deserve to feel joy again. Learning how to have more joy in your life starts with your mindset, and your daily routine has a powerful effect on your state of mind. Exercise has proven to reduce depression. So, find exercise that you enjoy and make it a part of your routine. Yogi spiritual teacher Sri Chinmoy tells us that the secret of joy is not to be found in the life of desire or pleasure, because both blind us. He advises that the secret is in the life of aspiration that illumines and liberates us. Find your purpose. When you've set yourself up for success through gratitude, empowering daily rituals, and mindfulness, you're ready to find your purpose. Your purpose goes beyond your career or short-term goals. It's what gives your life meaning. It's the thing you most want to accomplish in life. It's your legacy. James Luther Adams informed that the very meaning of history is to be found in the struggle for community, working towards the fulfillment of humanity and of the divine purpose. In this struggle, the only reliable object of faith and devotion, he says, is agape, that power which reconciles and reunites. Striving to be someone who brings joy and optimism as a source of strength for others and acts of kindness and generosity, no matter how small, often leave the biggest impression. What will be your legacy? What do you want to be remembered for? From my heart to yours, may it be so.